Welcome to HFY Galaxies, where the vastness of the universe comes alive with gripping stories of humanity's fight for survival against unimaginable odds. Here, we delve into the darkest corners of space, unveiling epic battles, alien invasions, and alliances forged in the heat of war. Our journey is one of resilience, bravery, and the unbreakable will to endure. These aren't just stories, they are a testament to humanity's strength, ingenuity, and relentless spirit. As we navigate through the galaxies, we face the ultimate question: can humanity rise to the challenge, or will we be consumed by the forces that threaten all life? Each adventure holds secrets that will make you question everything you thought you knew about the cosmos. Buckle up for a thrilling ride filled with alien forces, interstellar warfare, and humanity's place in the universe. Subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments, and become part of the mission. Let's explore the galaxies together. In the vast, empty void of deep space, silence reigns, broken only by the occasional flicker of distant stars. A cold, unfeeling darkness surrounds everything. Yet, within that deep shadow, a faint movement stirs. An alien vessel glides through the void, its sleek form barely visible against the backdrop of an infinite, black universe. Its hull gleams with an eerie, ghostly light, as though it's made of a material unknown to any known species, one that absorbs light, making it appear as though it were merely a shadow in motion. The faint reflections from distant stars create a haunting presence as the ship silently drifts through the stillness of space. This vessel, a Carnareth Recon, was designed to be both ancient and remarkably efficient. Its contours are smooth, almost organic, flowing with the graceful, predatory curves of a natural-born hunter. The Carnareths, reptilian and cold-blooded, have evolved in some of the harshest environments known in the galaxy. Over the centuries, they have mastered the art of navigating the vast expanse of space with near-perfect precision, remaining undetected, barely leaving a ripple in the calm of the universe. Inside the ship, the crew of Carnareths moves in eerie synchrony, their long, lizard-like forms standing tall and rigid as they scan the endless expanse before them. For countless years, they have been monitoring humanity from the shadows, watching their reckless wars, their explosive growth, and their defiant disregard for any universal order. To the Carnareths, humans were nothing more than a primitive, emotional species, whose wars and territorial ambitions only displayed their lack of wisdom. The Carnareths had seen humanity's chaotic rise, observed their unrelenting drive to expand their reach without any understanding of the consequences. The humans were impulsive, unpredictable, savage, and emotional, unworthy of serious attention. But now, in the quiet of the command deck, something had changed. A soft beep. A signal. A faint blip on the radar. At first, the lead officer barely glanced at the readings, dismissing it as just another passing ship, another sign of humanity's expanding reach. But as more data flooded in, a slow, unsettling feeling crept into the officer's chest. The ship was enormous, far larger than any human warship the Carnareths had encountered before. The name displayed on the scanner caused the officer to freeze: Vanguard. The name itself seemed to carry an immense weight, an unspoken meaning that the officer could not ignore. As the ship came into clearer view on their scanners, the true nature of the threat became painfully clear. This wasn't just another warship. This was something far more horrifying: a fortress. Vanguard was not simply a warship, it was a monstrosity, an engine of war designed not just to fight but to endure. Its armor was unlike anything the Carnariths had ever encountered. It wasn't made from common alloys or composites. It absorbed and bent energy in ways that defied all logic. Its defenses weren't mere shields, they were a living, breathing force that responded to attacks, absorbing energy and reflecting it back in a deadly, calculated fashion. It was an embodiment of survival, designed to endure even the most brutal, unrelenting conflicts. The weaponry aboard Vanguard was nothing short of terrifying. Railguns capable of firing projectiles faster than light itself, capable of tearing through the very fabric of space. Plasma lances capable of reducing entire fleets to ash within seconds. And missiles, thousands of them, each one capable of warping space itself, collapsing enemy shields like paper, rendering even the most powerful defenses useless. But the true terror lay not in the primary systems, but in the secondary ones. Vanguard wasn't just armed to destroy, it was armed to hunt. Dark, sinister drones streaked through the vast emptiness of space at terrifying speeds, each equipped with razor-sharp blades that could slice through steel and protocols designed to hijack enemy systems. These drones weren't just weapons, they were intelligent machines designed for one purpose: to seek and destroy any threat to humanity. And then there were the Mecha Rangers, cybernetic monstrosities forged from the remains of fallen human soldiers. Their bodies were augmented with advanced weaponry capable of obliterating entire cities, their minds overridden by technology. They were both soldiers and machines, relentless, unstoppable, and terrifyingly effective. As the data continued to flood in, the officer's voice faltered, trembling with a mixture of disbelief and dread. "Supreme Captain, you need to see this." Captain Kuros stepped forward, his amber eyes narrowing. A cold shiver ran down his spine as his mind raced with the weight of the information. Vanguard was not just a threat, it was a nightmare made real. Humanity had done something the Carnariths never expected. They had created a weapon so destructive, so overwhelmingly powerful, that even the most advanced civilizations would falter in its presence. For the first time in his life, Captain Kuros felt true fear. Fear not just for the ship itself, but for what humanity had become. They had no restraint, no limits. And now, they were ready to unleash their power. The universe would never be the same. The Vanguard hovers ominously in the stillness of space, its dark silhouette casting a shadow that stretches across the infinite void. The Carnarith Recon floats just beneath it, a stark contrast in size and purpose. The once quiet expanse now seems more oppressive, as though the very universe itself is holding its breath. The realization hits the Carnarith crew like a thunderclap. Vanguard has noticed them. It isn't just an observation, it is a warning. For centuries, the Carnariths have prided themselves on their ability to remain unseen. Their stealth technology is flawless, their ships silent predators that slip through the shadows without a trace. They've slipped past countless other species unnoticed, blending into the blackness of space as though they were mere whispers on the wind. Yet now, for the first time, they have been caught. The Vanguard has seen them. And even more terrifying, it's watching them now. Inside the Carnarith Recon, the crew is in a state of palpable panic. Captain Rar stands at the front of the command deck, his pulse quickening as his eyes fixate on the readings. He watches the Vanguard on his monitors, its massive form hanging like a specter in the darkness. The ship is unyielding, its form an embodiment of power that the Carnariths are ill-prepared to face. "Shut down all systems," Captain Rar orders, his voice tight. Power down everything. We're going into stealth mode. Now. The Carnareth Recon responds, its systems humming as the power drains from the ship, but it's too late. Before the vessel can retreat into the shadows of space, the cold silence is shattered by a sharp, mechanical voice that resonates across their communications. Unidentified vessel. You are scanning a Terran warship. State your purpose. The voice is chilling, devoid of emotion. It carries an authority that makes the Carnareths freeze. The captain's heart pounds in his chest as his mind races. How could this happen? Vanguard had seen through their cloaking technology as though it was nothing more than a veil of smoke. It wasn't just a warship, it was far more, a harbinger of something far darker. Captain Rar motions to his communications officer, who reluctantly opens the channel to respond. The officer's voice trembles as he speaks, knowing full well the gravity of the situation. We mean no harm, Captain Rar says, his voice steady, though a hint of unease can be heard beneath the calm. We were merely observing. The communication line falls into a suffocating silence. The tension is thick enough to feel. The Carnareths wait, breathless, as the humans process the situation. Every moment feels like an eternity, the weight of the unknown pressing on their minds. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, the voice responds. It's not filled with anger or hostility. No, it's far worse. It drips with mockery, a casual dismissal that cuts deeper than any insult. Pick another civilization to spy on. The words hang in the air like a slap across the face. The Carnareths have not only been detected, they've been dismissed. Humanity, in that moment, has made it abundantly clear that they are not just another species, they are the apex predator of the galaxy. The Carnareths were nothing more than an insignificant blip, a fleeting nuisance in the grander scheme of things. Captain Rar feels his heart race, and his claws grip the cold metal of the console. His mind spins. He understands now. Humanity is not just a species to be feared. They are something more, a force of nature, a deadly power that the galaxy will have to reckon with. But the Carnareths were given no mercy. They were dismissed as though they were nothing. Vanguard was no mere warship, it was a testament to humanity's rise, their readiness to stand as the final guardians against a universe that would never be the same. As the Carnareth Recon retreats into the blackness, Captain Rar's heart pounds in his chest. The crew can feel the weight of the fear settling over them like a thick fog. They have faced countless enemies in their long history. But this was different. Humanity is not just a threat. They are a force unlike any the galaxy has ever encountered, both terrifying and yet strangely alluring. As the Carnareth Recon fades into the distance, the weight of what they've just witnessed lingers in the cold void. The Carnareths will forever carry the memory of this encounter with them. Humanity had made its presence known. And now, the galaxy will never be the same. The Carnareths are no longer the galaxy's silent predators. Humanity, for all its flaws and unpredictability, has proven to be something far more dangerous than they could have ever imagined. The balance of power in the galaxy has shifted. And now, the Carnareths must decide whether to fight or bow down to the overwhelming force of the humans they have so underestimated. The truth will echo across the stars, leaving the galaxy forever changed. The age of silent hunting is over. The age of humanity has begun. The council chamber is vast, its architecture as cold and imposing as the Carnareth race itself. The walls, crafted from ancient Netherian obsidian, shimmer with a pale, eerie glow beneath the harsh, sterile lights that hang overhead. The air feels heavy, laden with the weight of eons of power and authority. The room, etched in timeless stone, seems to echo with the presence of a long history, one of countless decisions and alliances that have shaped the fate of the galaxy. Above, the dome stretches wide like the endless reaches of the universe itself, mocking the finite nature of the beings beneath it. At the heart of this imposing chamber, the Carnareth warlords sit in their black thrones, each one as grand as the last. Their eyes, glowing with a bright, unnatural amber hue, gleam with suspicion and superiority. These warlords, once believed to be the supreme force in the galaxy, had ruled with ruthless efficiency, their strategies unmatched, their military dominance unparalleled. They were beings of pride, honed by centuries of calculated superiority. Now, as they sit in judgment, Kuros stands before them. His posture is rigid, his claws tapping nervously against the cold, unforgiving metal of the war table. The weight of their unblinking gazes presses on him like a physical force, each moment spent under their scrutiny a reminder of the tension in the room. You ask us to believe that humans, those reckless, emotional creatures, are superior to us. One of the warlords sneers, his voice dripping with contempt. The others murmur in agreement, their expressions twisted with disbelief. The Carnareths had always considered themselves the true masters of the galaxy. To think that a species so flawed, so driven by base emotions, could pose a real threat seemed laughable to them. Kuros straightens, fighting the surge of unease that rises within him. His claws dig into the surface of the table as he activates the holographic projector. The room is instantly bathed in a cold, blue light, the images flickering to life. A collective breath is held as the first image materializes on the screen. It's Vanguard. The Carnareths fall silent, their eyes fixed on the display as the Vanguard emerges, its silhouette a dark and indestructible force. The ship's hull, shining with an eerie, almost unnatural energy, gleams like polished obsidian. This is no mere warship. This is a fortress in space, a monument to human determination. Vanguard was not designed to fight in typical wars. It was created to endure, to survive the unimaginable. The warlords, who have seen countless ships and weapons, are taken aback. The sheer presence of Vanguard sends an uncomfortable ripple through even the most battle-hardened commanders. It feels almost alive. The power radiating from it is undeniable, forcing even the most confident to question their understanding of warfare. The image shifts, revealing more details of the terrifying design of Vanguard. Its weaponry alone is a testament to human ingenuity. Railguns capable of shooting projectiles faster than light itself, ripping through space with deadly precision. Plasma lances capable of reducing entire fleets to ashes in a heartbeat. Missiles, thousands of them, each one capable of warping the very fabric of space itself, tearing through shields as though they were mere paper. But the true terror lies in the secondary systems, those hidden aspects of the ship designed not just for destruction, but for the hunt. Dark drones, small and swift, burst into view. Their blades gleam like silver in the light, sharp enough to slice through steel. Each drone is equipped with protocols to hijack enemy systems, turning their own weapons against them. These aren't just machines of war, they are instruments of annihilation, each one built to seek, to destroy, to hunt down the heart of any threat. Kuroz's voice breaks the silence. His words are low, almost haunted, as he speaks. They didn't destroy us, he says, his tone bitter. That's what makes them terrifying. The weight of his statement hangs heavy in the room. The warlords remain still, their minds struggling to process the full implications of what they are seeing. Humanity had not merely created a ship to defend itself. No. Vanguard was something else entirely, a weapon with an objective that defied all known principles of warfare. It wasn't a symbol of arrogance. It was a desperate defense, born from a galaxy-wide realization that something far worse was coming. For a long, unnerving moment, no one speaks. The hum of the holographic display fills the chamber, the image of Vanguard hovering like a silent predator above the warlords. The realization is slow, almost suffocating. The Carnariths had made a grave mistake in underestimating humanity. They had dismissed them, but now, it is clear. Humanity isn't just a threat to be swatted aside. Vanguard was proof that humanity was no longer the primitive, emotional species they had once thought. They were a new kind of force, one that the galaxy could no longer ignore. Finally, Supreme Commander Reese, the most experienced of the Carnarith warlords, leans forward in his chair. His golden eyes narrow, scanning the image of Vanguard with a penetrating gaze that seems to see past the ship's formidable exterior. His face, scarred from centuries of war, betrays no emotion, but something deeper lingers in his eyes. Knowledge. Fear. A terrible understanding of the weight of what is to come. He speaks, his voice low and steady, but tinged with an unmistakable sense of urgency. What are they preparing for? The question resonates in the room, a heavy, foreboding inquiry. The tone of Supreme Commander Reese carries more than just curiosity, it is laden with suspicion. It's as if he already suspects the answer, but cannot yet fully comprehend the true magnitude of the truth. Despite his vast experience in war, even Supreme Commander Reese cannot fathom the scope of what is approaching. Kuroz feels his pulse race. The weight of the situation presses on him, suffocating. He understands now what the humans were doing. They weren't preparing for war with just one species. They were preparing for something far more dangerous, something the Carnariths could not even begin to comprehend. Humanity, once seen as a reckless, unpredictable species, had been preparing for something far beyond any conflict known to the galaxy. And Kuroz knows with certainty, humanity isn't just fighting to survive. They are fighting for something much more elusive. Something that will challenge the very fabric of life in the galaxy. The battle that lies ahead is not one of conquest or power. It is a fight for survival. And Carnariths must now decide, will they face this threat, or will they fall before it, as so many other civilizations before them? The Carnariths are faced with an undeniable truth. Humanity has prepared for the unimaginable. The Vanguard is only the beginning. The question is not whether humanity will survive, it's whether the galaxy will survive, and if it does, what will be left of it. The war has only just begun. Kuroz sat alone in his quarters, the shadows of the room stretching long across the cold walls, like silent specters in the dim light. The faint hum of the ship's engines was the only sound that punctuated the stillness, a quiet lull that did little to soothe the unease gnawing at him. Before him, Data from the Vanguard encounter flickered across his console, but his mind was far removed from the images on the screen. His thoughts were a tempest of doubt, swirling in confusion and fear. The haunting image of Vanguard, its monstrous, indestructible presence, lingered in his mind, unsettling him deeper than any battle ever had. He couldn't shake the feeling that something far worse than any weapon was out there lurking in the depths of space, waiting. His claws trembled, gripping the armrest as if trying to ground himself. His sharp, amber eyes stared blankly at the data. The universe, vast and mysterious, had just revealed a glimpse of its true, terrifying face. And Kuroz was unsure if his species would survive what was coming next. Then, a sudden ping cut through his reverie, a burst of activity that startled him, the sound so sharp against the quiet that it made his breath catch in his throat. A classified message appeared on the console screen, marked urgent. His breath hitched as his claws reached for the console, the anticipation tightening in his chest. He activated the transmission. The moment the data streams came to life, Kuroz froze. What he saw made his blood run cold. Wreckage. The scattered remnants of immense ships' hulking forms, their outlines barely recognizable, lay strewn across the vastness of space. These weren't human ships. They weren't Carnareth ships. They were something far more alien, too deformed and twisted for any known species. The wreckage was immense, beyond anything Kuroz had ever encountered. Metal twisted and mangled in ways that defied all logic, as though an unearthly force had torn them apart, leaving no trace of the original vessels. A chill ran through him, and he leaned closer to the screen, his breath shallow as he studied the scans. The metal appeared to breathe, its surface undulating with a sickening rhythm, almost alive. Symbols, grotesque and organic, marked the wreckage, marks that were unlike anything he'd seen before. It was as though the destruction wasn't just a battle, a war, but something more alive, something that had infected the very fabric of the ships. The wreckage wasn't fresh, it was ancient. So old, in fact, that it seemed impossible this destruction had been caused by any recent battle. Yet, the faint signal pulsing from the debris felt alive, a weak, almost imperceptible thrum that echoed through the vast, empty spaces of the graveyard. A pulse from the heart of this forgotten battlefield, still echoing in the silence of space. The images flashed before his eyes. The ships were ripped apart down their very cores, twisted by an unseen hand, an invisible force that tore through them like paper. Some of the metal seemed to melt into grotesque shapes, as though they had been reshaped by some unnatural force. The fear that Kuroz felt now wasn't one of simple war, it was terror in the face of an enemy so vast, so impossible, that it transcended the concept of war itself. As he absorbed this data, another ping sounded from the console, a new message, this one from the Vanguard. The voice that crackled through the comms was that of Commander Aedan Jorah, steady yet chilling. "We call them the Vornoth," Jorah's voice reverberated, cold and distant. "We don't know what they are. But they're coming." The name struck like a dagger, causing Kuroz's claws to curl into fists. The Vornoth. He had never heard of them before. There was no history, no record of encounters with such a species. Yet, the primal fear that surged in his chest at the very mention of their name told him everything he needed to know. Something far worse than anything the galaxy had encountered was drawing closer. The wreckage of the unknown ships loomed in his mind, twisted, broken, and impossibly unnatural. He could no longer deny it. Vanguard had never been designed to fight the Carnareth. No. It wasn't a vessel built to defend against any species they knew. The Vanguard had been crafted for a purpose far darker. The humans had seen this coming. Their preparation was not for war with the Carnareth or any of the galaxy's known species. No, Vanguard was their shield. It had been built to survive the coming storm, a defense against the Vornoth. The truth struck Rose like a physical blow. The humans, for all their perceived savagery, had known what was out there. While the rest of the galaxy remained blind, the humans had seen the danger lurking beyond the stars. The Vornoth had existed in the darkness, and now they were coming. The truth that now sat heavily on his shoulders made the weight of his discovery unbearable. Humanity had prepared for something so terrifying, so alien, that it had shattered his understanding of everything he knew. The Vornoth were no mere invaders, they were something far more terrifying. A force beyond the comprehension of any known species, a primal destruction that would swallow the galaxy whole. Kuros leaned back in his chair, trying to collect himself. His heart was racing, his mind struggling to process what he had just uncovered. Would anyone believe him? Would the galaxy, so consumed with its pride and arrogance, even listen? Or would they, like the Carnareths before them, ignore the warning and be swept away by the inevitable wave of destruction? The Vornoth were coming. The galaxy, for all its grandeur and power, was unprepared for the true scale of the threat that was about to descend upon it. Kuros knew one thing for certain: the war that had begun was unlike anything they had ever faced. It was no longer a war of empires, but a war for survival itself. The question now was not whether humanity would survive, but whether the galaxy would survive. The Vornoth were coming, and soon, all would face the horrific truth: the galaxy was no longer the same. Would anyone be ready? Would the galaxy unite? Or would they fall one by one under the weight of this ancient terror? Kuros couldn't answer that. But he knew this much: it was too late to stop what was coming. All they could do now was face it, together, or perish in the attempt. The cold silence of space is broken only by the industrial hum that vibrates through the stars. In the depths of this vast, uncharted expanse, far beyond the reach of most known civilizations, enormous planetary forges pulse with life like beacons against the endless void. These forges, nestled deep within distant moons, churn and twist, their massive iron structures spinning against the backdrop of darkness. They are the heartbeat of humanity's war machine, their flames rising higher than any star in sight. These colossal structures are not mere factories. They are alive with purpose, a mechanical symphony where each piece of metal, each spark and ember, comes together to create something far greater than weapons. They are fortresses being born from the fires of human determination. Humanity does not merely build warships, these are fortresses designed to survive the unimaginable, to endure whatever darkness looms on the horizon. They are not built for conquest, but for defense against something the galaxy refuses to understand. The camera zooms out to reveal a network of endless shipyards, where hundreds of vessels take form. The metallic sound of welding and hammering fills the air, an unyielding rhythm of construction. These ships are designed not to conquer, not to seize new worlds or impose will upon the stars. No, they are crafted to stand tall against an enemy so deadly, so consuming, that the galaxy would have to unite in the face of it. The ships, each a masterpiece of engineering, emerge slowly from their construction lines. Their hulls are made from materials stronger than anything known, layered with dense alloys that absorb and neutralize the very forces meant to destroy them. The metal fuses together, creating structures capable of withstanding the crushing force of a collapsing star. These ships are not designed to strike first, they are built to outlast the horrors that lie ahead, to endure a storm that will test the very fabric of reality itself. In the background, a shift in the camera reveals human colonies scattered across distant planets. Yet, these are no ordinary colonies. These are not peaceful, thriving civilizations. These outposts are meticulously designed not for expansion, but for survival. Massive defensive walls snake across barren plains, towering steel ramparts that stretch like living barriers against the encroaching dark. Beneath the surface, deep within the very rock of these planets, high-tech bunkers are hidden, concealed beneath a veil of lush vegetation. The surface of the planets may seem calm and untouched, but beneath it, humanity has prepared for the worst. These are not places of prosperity, they are places of readiness. Humanity has built them not to spread its influence, but to survive the coming storm. These colonies, fortified and isolated, hold the secrets to humanity's darkest hours, the understanding that the true war is not against one enemy, but against the very fabric of existence itself. The Vornoth are coming, and the galaxy still fails to see it. Kuros, his posture rigid, watches this unfolding vision from the cockpit of his Carnareth ship, a deep sense of dread settling in his chest. He sees the ships take form, their dark, looming shapes slowly filling the silent void. He cannot deny it now. Humanity is not preparing for a war of conquest. They are preparing for something far darker than any of the known species could comprehend. The galaxy's understanding of conflict is insignificant compared to the horrors that are approaching. The reality is simple, it's not about territory, it's about survival. He clenches his claws, the weight of the knowledge pressing heavily against his chest. He can no longer deny the truth. Humanity was not just fighting to survive, they were preparing for extinction. The knowledge they carry, the weaponry they've built, is not just about protecting their world. It is a desperate attempt to outlast something far worse than anything the galaxy had ever known. Kuros leans forward, urgency in his voice as he addresses Commander Aidan Jorah, standing tall before the fleet. The man had once seemed uncertain, untested in the fires of the galaxy's true conflicts, but now, his resolve was ironclad. He could feel the urgency of the moment in every fiber of his being. Jorah, you must understand, Kuros pleads, his voice raw with emotion. The galaxy must know what's coming. They must prepare. They will not survive otherwise. Jorah turns toward him, his expression unreadable at first, but there's a glint in his eyes, one of unshakable resolve. The weight of years of secrecy now lifts from his shoulders. The time for hiding is over. The galaxy must know the truth. Humanity has prepared, and now it is time for them to share what they know. We've always been preparing, Kuros, Jorah replies, his voice steady but carrying the heavy weight of unspoken knowledge. But you're right. It's time to end the secrecy. The galaxy must know what we've seen. What's coming? For the first time, the Carnareth and humans stand side by side. They are not united by their differences, but by a common understanding of the danger ahead. Kuros, a creature of cold calculation and battle-hardened pride, has seen what humanity's future holds. Jorah, a leader of his people, has felt the weight of their greatest weapon in his very soul. Their future now rests on the fate of the galaxy. The preparations have been painstaking. Humanity, though flawed, is the last, best hope for survival. But the question remains, will the galaxy heed the warning, or will they perish, alone, under the coming storm? It is too late to stop the Vornoth. What comes next is inevitable. But there is still time to stand together, to unite in the face of destruction. It's not just about surviving. It's about facing the end with courage, with unity. Kuros feels the weight of the galaxy's fate on his shoulders. Jorah, once a stranger, now shares that burden. The galaxy, for all its flaws, may be humanity's greatest weapon. They've seen the future. Now, it's time for the universe to face it. The coming storm is not one of war, but of extinction. And only unity will stand between the galaxy and the eternal night. 5 years have passed since the first signs of the Vornoth. Time has carved its indelible mark on the galaxy. The camera sweeps across the infinite expanse of space, where an unparalleled armada floats in the cold, empty void. Thousands of ships, each a testament to the diversity of the galaxy's greatest powers, are now gathered in perfect formation. This is no mere fleet, this is the heart of a unified galaxy, standing side by side, bound by a singular, dire threat. Once, the Carnareth and the Zori had been distant, almost indifferent to one another. Now, they stand together, their ships towering alongside humanity's proudest creations. The Varian ships, once feared and unchallenged, glide in unison with sleek human vessels and the imposing Zora warships. Ships of every imaginable size and purpose have converged. Some are towering fortresses, bristling with weapons, designed to endure the harshest of battles. Others are nimble scouts, sleek and quick like arrows, their surfaces gleaming under the light of distant stars. Together, these ships form the greatest military alliance the galaxy has ever seen. Their hulls, shimmering like polished silver, are more than just metal and alloys, they are symbols of a shared purpose, a collective will to fight for survival. The galaxy, once divided by its various ambitions and conflicts, now faces a common enemy, the Vornoth. The camera lingers on the ships, their forms gliding across the vast emptiness like an unstoppable force. Some ships are designed for agility, their sharp lines and aerodynamic shapes designed to cut through the void with precision. Others are hulking behemoths, their surfaces covered in layers of reinforced material, weapons mounted along every edge. Each ship, despite its uniqueness, is now part of a greater whole. They are no longer just individual forces of destruction, they are the collective might of a galaxy that has chosen survival over division. The camera then shifts to the command bridge of the Vanguard. Commander Aedan, Jorah and Kuros stand side by side, their eyes focused on the vast expanse before them. Jorah, once uncertain and hesitant, now stands with unyielding resolve. Kuros, a being forged from pride and battle, feels the weight of the moment settle in his chest. Once enemies, now allies, they share a bond stronger than any bloodline, a shared understanding of the impending battle. Their eyes meet, and a silent communication passes between them. The war is no longer just about power or territory, it is about the preservation of everything that has been fought for. This is not about winning, it is about ensuring the survival of every life in the galaxy. It is about survival, and nothing more. But as the camera pans over the unity of the Armada, an unnatural ripple disturbs the fabric of space itself. The stars themselves seem to shiver, a sudden tension distorting the very essence of the cosmos. The camera focuses on this distortion, drawing closer to the strange and unsettling phenomenon. The very space around them seems to bend, and the air is thick with an ominous hum, sound that vibrates through the bones of every soldier, every commander, and every ship. And then, they come. At first, they appear as shadows, faint, almost imperceptible against the vastness of space. But as the light from distant stars flickers across them, their forms become clear, grotesque, twisted masses of metal and flesh, more monstrous and nightmarish than any living creature. The Vornoth have arrived. Their bodies are a horrific hybrid, part metal, part organic. The Vornoth are not ships in the traditional sense, they are living entities. Their very presence bends the space around them, dark tendrils reaching out like the fingers of some ancient, hungry god, searching for something to devour. Their movements are deliberate, though chaotic, a predatory grace that makes the very air feel suffocating. The Vornoth are not merely a force to be reckoned with, they are a plague, a relentless wave of destruction. They do not travel through space as the other ships do. They tear it apart, leaving nothing but ruin in their wake. The ships of the galaxy, once symbols of unity and strength, seem fragile in comparison. They are but toys, insignificant in the face of the storm that approaches. As the Vornoth draw closer, their presence fills the void like a choking fog, a suffocating darkness that threatens to swallow everything in its path. The once proud fleet, standing tall and united, now seems like a fragile barrier between the galaxy and certain annihilation. The storm has come, and with it, the true test of unity. On the command bridge of the Vanguard, a long silence hangs in the air. The tension is palpable. Every soul aboard the ship feels the undeniable certainty that the battle has begun. Captain Jorah's voice breaks the silence, low and filled with a trembling weight of truth. They are here. Kuro's heart pounds in his chest as he watches the Vornoth approach. The darkness of space, once vast and endless, now feels suffocating. The true battle has arrived. It is not about territory, not about dominance. It is about survival. The Vornoth have come, and the galaxy must fight as one. In that moment, the line is drawn. There are no more divisions, no more borders between species. Every ship, every soldier, every life will stand together or they will fall, one by one. The camera flickers to life, revealing the vast emptiness of space, stretching out endlessly before the viewer. The hum of engines and the eerie silence of the void mix, creating a sense of tension, of a cosmic battle that's about to unfold. Once, the ships of the Allied fleets were in perfect formation, a model of unity and strength. But now, as the Erebus draw near, those same ships look fragile, scattered like forgotten fragments in the infinite dark. The first ripple in space is subtle, almost imperceptible. The very fabric of reality itself seems to bend and twist, the calmness shattered by an unsettling presence. The air hums with tension. The space between the Erebus and the united fleets of the galaxy seems to hold its breath, waiting for the inevitable. And then, it comes. The first strike arrives without warning, a silent wave of dark energy emanating from the depths of the Erebus ship's grotesque form. It's not a traditional blast, no. This is something far worse, an energy pulse so powerful, so pure in its destructive intent, that it warps space itself. The ripples of energy spread outward, distorting the very fabric of reality. The Vornoth-led fleet, once confident in their defenses, reels under the assault. Their shields flicker, sputter, and fail against the onslaught. The sound of groaning metal fills the air, an eerie reminder that even the mightiest structures have their breaking points. Human ships stagger, and the first signs of destruction are visible. The hulls of some vessels, once polished and proud, are torn open, their shields reduced to nothingness. The energy pulse tears through their structures, bending metal and light alike. The laws of physics themselves bend under the pressure of this incomprehensible force. Retaliation is swift. The United Fleet, made up of the Zori, the humans, and the Varians, fire everything they have. Plasma lances, kinetic rounds, laser beams, they fly toward the Erebus ship with brutal precision. But the strikes don't seem to matter. The projectiles dissipate against the Erebus ship's exterior, as if absorbed by an unseen force. What should have been destructive energy turns into nothingness, swallowed by the alien vessel as if it were a living organism consuming its prey. Then, the Erebus strike back with a fury unlike anything the galaxy has ever seen. Energy tendrils lash out from the Erebus ships, slicing through space like sentient blades. It's not a quick, explosive destruction. No. The Erebus attacks slowly, agonizingly. Ships from the Alliance begin to disintegrate at the molecular level. The outer hulls of the Carnareth, Zori, and human ships are torn apart, piece by piece. What was once solid becomes dust, the very atoms of the ships dissolving as the Erebus apply an eerie, methodical force. The sound of metal and hulls disintegrating echoes across the battlefield, each death slow, inevitable, and horrifying. Inside these ships, the once proud crews feel the horror firsthand. The very air within the ships becomes thick with poison as the alien energy seeps in, choking the life out of the crew. Their screams reverberate through the vastness of space, but no one can hear them. Despite the overwhelming odds, the indomitable, humanity's greatest weapon, charges forward. Its massive engines roar to life, the ship's weapons powering up with a blinding intensity. Railguns fire, slamming into the Erebus ships with blistering speed. The projectiles move faster than light itself, and for a moment, the Erebus defenses falter. The shockwaves ripple through space, a physical manifestation of humanity's defiance. But even this is not enough. The Erebus adapt. Their hybrid forms twist and contort, shifting their structure to avoid the incoming fire. They regenerate, their bodies part metal, part living organism, repairing themselves faster than the Indomitable's weapons can tear them apart. It is a maddening sight. What once appeared to be a creature of metal and organic matter now seems like something else entirely, a force of nature, impossible to stop, impossible to destroy. Kuros stands on the command bridge, his claws clenched, his mind racing with the horrors unfolding before him. Zortha's voice cuts through the chaos, calm but heavy with the weight of the universe's truth. This war is not between empires. It is between life and extinction. His words strike with the force of a comet. This battle, this unrelenting clash, is not about territory or dominance. It is about the survival of the galaxy, of life itself. The Erebus are not simply a threat. They are an extinction event, a force of destruction that devours everything in its path. The battle rages on, a clash of light and darkness, hope and despair. The Indomitable's weapons blaze, the massive warships of the Galaxies alliance press forward, but the Erebus press harder, relentless and overwhelming. The presence of the Erebus looms large, suffocating the once great unity of the galaxy. Zortha's voice reverberates, steady but with a resonance that shakes the very core of the universe. The galaxy is not what it was. It will never be the same again. The Erebus, once unseen, now dominate the battlefield. Their ships are not vessels, they are predators, stalking through the fabric of reality itself. Their very presence twists space, bending time, and the galaxy fights to hold onto its existence, each ship and soldier now more valuable than ever. The unity of the galaxy, once a shining beacon of hope, now feels fragile, like glass under the weight of an ancient storm. The Erebus are here, and they are relentless. They will destroy, they will consume, they will remake the universe in their image, or they will perish trying. The darkness presses in as the fleets collide, the Erebus and their horrific forms bearing down on the last defenders of life. The air crackles with the energy of battle. The outcome is uncertain. But one truth remains clear: the galaxy's fate is no longer in the hands of the empires. It is in the hands of those willing to fight, willing to survive. The galaxy has crossed its final line. Stand together, or be consumed. The scene transitions to the interior of the Erebus, the terrifying warship of the Erebus. The ship exudes a living, breathing presence, a hybrid of organic matter and cold, mechanical precision. Its metal surface is alive with pulsating veins of dark energy, the flow of which is disturbingly visible as it courses across its hull. Each pulse of energy ripples through the ship, its rhythms echoing the slow, steady beat of a monstrous heart. The walls of the ship are not solid but seem to breathe, stretching and contracting as if they were made of living tissue rather than metal, creating an unnerving sense of movement of something far older, and far more dangerous, than any ship the galaxy has ever known. Inside, Captain Riveno stands before a holographic map, his reptilian eyes gleaming with unease. The map stretches across the room, displaying the galaxy's vast expanse, dotted with the positions of the fragmented fleets of the galaxy's remaining defense. The stars shimmer dimly, appearing small and fragile in the face of the impending destruction. His claws tap nervously on the arm of his chair, feeling the weight of the situation press upon him. There's a deep, resonant hum that vibrates through the very bones of his crew, a signal of the approaching storm. "We are not just facing a species," he mutters under his breath, his voice low but filled with a grim finality. "We are facing an extinction." He feels it, the primal presence of something beyond even his understanding. The Erebus are not merely a race of conquerors. No, they are something more. They are a force, a destructive entity created to consume life itself. The weight of this knowledge presses down on Riveno, and he feels the cold void of space echo in his chest. The hum in the air intensifies, and with it, a transmission crackles through the airwaves, a sudden, urgent message from the human fleet. Commander Nira, her voice calm yet heavy with an unmistakable urgency, appears on the screen. "We must understand what they are," Nira's voice echoes, her tone resolute. "We have not faced mere invaders, we have faced an entity that was designed to devour life itself. You need to know why we've been preparing this entire time. This is not a war for territory, this is a war for the very essence of life. The Erebus are a force of nature, and nature has no mercy. The message plays out in silence, Riveno's eyes narrowing as disbelief and shock grip him. The cold realization sinks in. The Erebus are not simply an enemy to be defeated. They are nature's darkest expression, an unstoppable, predatory force that devours the essence of life across the cosmos, regardless of what stands in their path. As Nira's words linger in the air, the camera cuts to the Indomitable, humanity's last hope. The ship's surface pulses with a defensive glow, its presence a beacon of defiance against the coming storm. Inside, the command room hums with activity as Commander Nira watches over the holographic maps. The maps show the progression of the Erebus, each red dot representing their devastating advance. The fleet, humanity's united front, stands ready, every ship a reflection of years of preparation, every soldier prepared to lay down their life for the survival of the galaxy. Riveno's mind races as memories of an ancient legend flood his thoughts. A myth from Varian history, passed down through generations, whispered by the elders, buried in forgotten texts. A weapon. No, not just a weapon, a relic. A long-lost artifact that could disrupt the very nature of the Erebus. It was said to be capable of interfering with their unnatural existence, potentially unraveling the very fabric of their being. There is a way, Riveno mutters, more to himself than anyone else. But it's buried, lost in time. We need to find it. His voice trembles with a mix of fear and hope. The truth is, no one had believed in this artifact for millennia. But now, faced with the oncoming annihilation, Riveno feels the surge of possibility. Could this relic really exist? And if it did, would it be enough to stop the relentless force that is coming? His eyes narrow as he looks over the fleet of ships on the map. The future of the galaxy hangs in the balance. He motions sharply to his crew. Prepare the fleet. We're diverting course. We're heading for an uncharted system. We're going to find it. His voice hardens with a finality that brooks no argument. The crew looks to each other, uncertain, but they can see it in Riveno's eyes, the last glimmer of hope. If this artifact exists, it may be the only thing that stands between the galaxy and total extinction. Riveno knows the risks. The system they are heading to is beyond the known maps, beyond any recorded history. But it is the only lead they have. If the artifact is there, it could change the tide of the war. As the Erebus shifts direction, the crew braces themselves. The weight of the moment hangs over them as they leave behind the familiar space of their battles, heading into the unknown. With each passing second, the tension mounts. They are no longer just fighting to survive, they are fighting for a future they have yet to fully understand. The camera pulls away, revealing the united fleet, the last bastion of hope fading into the distance, their course set for the unknown, where a relic from ancient times might hold the key to the galaxy's survival. The fate of all life now rests on finding something forgotten, lost in the sands of time. The galaxy's final line of defense has been drawn. The Erebus and the fleet of the United Forces, Riveno's Varian Armada and Nira's human forces cut through the inky blackness of space. Their engines hum in synchronized harmony, the faint glow of their propulsion systems leaving a fleeting trail of light as they speed toward the hidden system. The ships, though massive and brimming with advanced technology, feel insignificant in the face of the growing threat. Each vessel carries the collective weight of countless species, but their unity is fragile, held together not by shared friendship or trust, but by the looming, inevitable destruction that the Erebus bring with them. In the Indomitable's command room, Commander Nira stands at the center, her presence unwavering despite the tension that tightens the air. Her hands rest on the table, her eyes scanning the holographic map as the fleet approaches the final stretch of their journey. "We cannot afford to fail," Nira speaks aloud, her voice calm, but the words carry the burden of a galaxy in peril. "Not only for us, but for every living thing." Her words echo throughout the ship, resonating with every crew member. The stakes have never been higher. It is no longer just a war for survival, it is a war for existence itself. Each ship, each soldier, is a testament to the galaxy's desperate resolve. The Erebus are no longer a threat waiting to come, they are an unstoppable force drawing closer with every passing moment. The atmosphere in the command room is thick with anticipation. Tension flares between species, old grudges simmering just beneath the surface, but everyone understands, there is no room for division now. Unity has become their only hope, a fragile alliance forged in the fires of impending doom. As they draw near the hidden system, a strange silence falls over the crew. The crew knows that the system they approach is unlike anything they have encountered before. The planet they are approaching is desolate, its surface pockmarked with ancient craters, its atmosphere long stripped away. It is a dead world, devoid of life, yet beneath its surface, a long-forgotten relic lies buried, a key to their survival. Nira moves to the command console, her fingers brushing over the controls, a sense of unease settling in her chest. Riveno, now fully aligned with humanity's cause, stands beside her, his mind racing. The Varians have a history of conquest, but even they are unprepared for the magnitude of what they are about to face. The ship enters orbit, and the Erebus slowly descends toward the planet's surface, where ancient ruins lie hidden beneath the crumbled world. The structures are unlike anything they've seen before, massive, imposing, their surfaces worn with time. There is something haunting about them, as if they were built by a civilization long forgotten, their knowledge buried in the sands of time. As they make their way down to the surface, a palpable sense of mystery fills the air. The ground beneath their feet hums with an unnatural resonance, and every step taken seems to vibrate through the very fabric of the planet. There is an eerie quality to this forgotten city, a sense that the walls are watching, listening, waiting for something. The team navigates through narrow corridors, their footsteps echoing in the vast silence. Strange symbols adorn the walls, markings that seem to pulse with energy, as if the very stone is alive with power. The deeper they go, the more intense the strange energy becomes. It is as though the planet itself is a vessel, holding within it a force that could shift the balance of the galaxy itself. At last, they reach the heart of the ruin. Before them, suspended in a massive chamber, is the artifact. It hovers, pulsating with energy, its crystalline structure unlike anything Riveno or Nira has ever seen. The glow it emits is not of this world, an otherworldly hue that defies explanation, radiating power that seems to call out to them. "This is it," Riveno breathes, his voice filled with awe and a trace of fear. The artifact is more than just a weapon, it is a key. It is their only hope. Nira steps forward, her fingers barely grazing the surface of the artifact. A surge of energy ripples through the room, making the air crackle with an electric hum. Her heart pounds in her chest as she whispers, "It's not just a weapon. It's a key. A key to stopping the Erebus." The artifact begins to react, the air around them thickening with a low hum that vibrates through their very bones. The walls of the chamber pulse with a strange, deep rhythm. The energy flowing from the artifact is almost alive, its power overwhelming. For a moment, the world feels as though it might collapse under the sheer force of what they are witnessing. Then, as if to confirm the dangers of tampering with such power, the ground shakes violently. The artifact's power surges, twisting the space around them, threatening to collapse the chamber. The walls groan, and the ceiling trembles. Nira steps back, her breath shallow, as she realizes the immense responsibility now resting on their shoulders. "We have one chance," Nira warns, her voice steady, yet filled with urgency. "Activate it incorrectly, and the entire galaxy could be wiped from existence." The truth of her words is not lost on anyone present. This is no mere weapon. The artifact is a force and ancient power that could tear apart the fabric of the universe itself. If they fail to harness it correctly, they risk destroying everything they've fought for, and perhaps even more. With the artifact now activated, the team must return to face the Erebus. The battle to save the galaxy is no longer a matter of strategy, it is a desperate fight to wield an ancient power against an enemy that knows no fear. Time is no longer on their side. Every second counts. The galaxy's fate now rests on the unity of its people and on the mysterious artifact that may be their only hope. The final showdown with the Erebus is fast approaching, and the galaxy must be prepared. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the fight for survival will determine the future of every living being in the galaxy. As the final showdown draws near, one thing becomes clear: this battle is about more than survival. It's about the very essence of life itself. Humanity, once dismissed as insignificant in the grand cosmic theater, now stands as the spearhead of an interstellar war that will shape the future of the galaxy. Can the alliances we've forged withstand the relentless forces of the Erebus? Or will they consume everything in their wake? The journey is far from over, and the mysteries ahead grow ever more tantalizing. What lies beyond the stars? Will we survive? Join the conversation and share your predictions. Your thoughts and comments matter in this fight for existence. Don't forget to subscribe, share with others, and stay tuned for the next chapter in this universe-spanning saga. Together, we will confront the unknown and determine the fate of all life. Stay with us for more thrilling tales from the edge of the universe.